Hello and welcome back to Legislative Lens, People and Policy. I'm your host, Michelle Badger, and today I'm thrilled to introduce you to two very special guests, our incredible summer interns. All three of our interns, two of whom are here today, are from the First Plymouth District and Plymouth North High School alumni. And each of them brings curiosity, dedication, and a strong commitment to public service. It's been such a joy having them in the office, and I'm excited for you to hear directly from them about what they're learning, what they're passionate about, and what they hope to take away from their time at the State House and in the district. So joining me today, we have Carter Pisano, a political science major who's transferring to UMass Amherst and a member of the class of 2028. In his free time, you might find him out running or hiking. And when Carter runs, he runs really far. I see him all over the town, miles and miles. We have Maeve Campbell, a communications and media major at Quinnipiac University, class of 2026. And in her free time, Maeve enjoys running and crocheting, and she also plays club field hockey and hockey at Quinnipiac. And she actually started their club hockey team at Quinnipiac. Emily Lunny, also a political science major at UMass Amherst, class of 2027, with a minor in history. Outside the office, Emily loves to crochet, read, and spend time with her friends. These three are amazing individuals who balance jobs, some have multiple, and this internship. And you've probably seen them all over Plymouth at different functions and different events, but I'm really excited to be able to bring them to you today. And as someone who was an intern myself at the U.S. Senate level, intern and a fellow, I hope that they're able to and having as great of a time as I did learning about topics I never thought that I would even come in contact with during my time as an intern. So we'll dive right in and kind of see what they've learned from their internship, get their perspective, what they're working on, and see what their next generation of leaders for Plymouth and advocates and so much more. So let's get started. Ready? All right. So it's been so fun getting to know all three of you, and with the two of you here today, let's start off with some basic questions. Just kind of have a conversation. If there's things that I don't bring up, please feel free to bring them up. Now, have you always been interested in politics? Like, how did you get interested in this kind of field? I don't know, Carter, do you want to start us off?
Yeah, I mean, I was kind of like raised in a household where like politics is treated as a big deal. Like they always talk about how like there's a lot of people out there who kind of say politics doesn't affect you, and it's like it does. It's in my house. It's treated as a really big deal. Like it's your vote really matters. Mm-hmm. No, it's always kind of stuck with me.
Yeah.
And yeah, now I just want to be involved in that. Yeah.
Love that. What about you, Maeve?
Well, politics has never been something that I've been super interested in. I've always been pretty informed, but never wanted to study it like Carter does in school or like a lot of my friends do in school. But I think I'm really interested in the way that communication and like media really has, especially lately, played a role in politics and how people stay informed, and a lot of misinformation and a lot of things that people think is misinformation, and just like staying informed through media. Media has been a major way that people get their information now. Instead of watching on the news, like they're seeing it on social media. So I think I'm now becoming more interested in politics just through my classes at school, because we do take a look at how communication affects politics. So I've always been pretty informed, but now I'm trying to like merge the two and with my major, and then like just my like knowledge.
And it's so good to have that like your perspective in the office, and because not everyone needs to be super interested in politics, but you know, as we've talked about together several times, it's about civic duty, right? We learn about civics in school, and it's so important that people are paying attention. If they're not interested, that's fine. But just paying attention and like knowing what's happening is really important at every age, right? I mean, I talked to, were they sixth graders? And we were talking about the importance of civics and being engaged. And because it doesn't matter how old you are, it just matters that you have a voice, and we all have one, and we all have a perspective, right? Mm-hmm. So what made you interested in kind of getting an internship, you know, with my office and with the State House?
Yeah, I can go first. I just thought it was a great opportunity to just get hands-on experience working in an office and having that like set schedule. Like you have a lot of assumptions on what goes on behind the scenes in like any office, like whether it's like for a political office, just a company. And I just think getting that hands-on experience and like having set hours, going to meetings, like listening in on things that you wouldn't have, like just in your normal everyday life. So I think, and then like I mentioned earlier, just learning about how communications and politics like intersect. It kind of stepped outside of my comfort zone just with me not studying politics and not knowing like a lot of the like basic knowledge that I know Carter and Emily do from their classes. And I do think that this internship has helped me realize like that there's so much more out there of what I could do with communications and just with my life in general with job opportunities. So I think any internship can serve as value. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everything teaches you something. Like
Yeah.
you said, like even if you're just interested in the communications aspect and
Mhm.
how they delve together, or
Mhm.
like we've talked about, like you have areas of interest that we all are passionate about.
Yeah.
And, you know, regardless of whether we think they're political, there's always something that if we're part of an organization, they need funding, or there's something that needs to be, you know, advocated. And you might not think it's political, but if there, at some point it's going to intersect, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, like I love that behind the scenes aspect that Maeve mentioned. Like I've obviously always been like, you know, I've always cared about politics, but I've never understood how it works. You know, behind the scenes, it's very interesting to like be there every day and see what actually happens. Like, you know, sometimes like Michelle can't make it to something and she has to send someone else like me to go to it. It's very interesting to see how like, you know, people in politics work as a team, sort of.
That
Yeah.
team is so
Yeah.
important.
Really
I mean,
interesting.
that's why
Yeah.
I call it Team First
Yeah,
Plymouth.
exactly.
Mhm.
That's who we are,
Yeah.
and that's how we're able to get to everything. Because without the three of you this summer, there's so many
Yeah.
things we wouldn't have been able to
Yeah.
go to, and there's so many things this winter that, you know, I'd go to, but maybe only spent 20 minutes, and
Mhm.
because you can't. And then are you learning everything you need to learn? And
Yeah.
you take that paper away, but there's so much teamwork in this because there's so many people and so many issues you need to learn about, and so it's great to have you all be able to go and write a little memo, or, you know, just have a conversation that says, hey, this is what I really learned. And this
Mhm.
is really important. I would never have thought about, like when you went to the robotics day, like, I mean, there are things you probably didn't know that robots could do, you know? So while we're on that, like kind of on that topic, should we kind of maybe talk about what your favorite thing was so far in the internship? And we still have another almost month for some
Yeah.
of you.
Mhm.
So there's plenty of time left to do some really fun things. And but if you want to kind of share, Carter, if you want to go first, what your favorite thing has been so far?
Yeah, I mean, going into the State House in general is obviously awesome because it's like it never feels like a job. I mean, and it never has, but it's always like I'm always doing something different every single day, going somewhere else. And yeah, like Michelle mentioned, the robotics day was incredible. Just to, like have these opportunities to like see things that most people don't get to see on a daily basis.
I agree with you.
I love going up there in the State House. It's never a chore to get up early to go.
No, it's such a beautiful building.
Yeah.
I mean, I feel the same way. Like every day, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I get to be here.
It feels
and be-
incredible. Yeah.
Yeah, I get to be here, and you think about all the other people who've walked those halls or sat at those
Yeah.
desks, or you know, the impactful legislation that has happened because of the work that interns and state reps and staff have done. It's just an incredible kind of team atmosphere. And if you're not looking at it that way, because it's so much about for our communities, right? It's for what we can do that helps. It's not about the person or the people. It's about the community.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with Carter on going to the State House. I think a goal of mine in the future is to work in some city, and I think Boston would be like amazing. So it's kind of like just realizing like that's possible, and it's like going in on the commuter rail, like not every morning. I was going in like once a week, but still just going in on the commuter rail, like being around all these other interns is just really cool. Like, and we were actually able to get a tour of the State House, which was really cool, and just learning so many facts that maybe I forgot from when I was like learning about these things in high school and middle school. But yeah, I just think going into Boston is amazing.
And like, is there a topic that was kind of surprised you that you have had a chance to learn about or go to a briefing on?
Yeah. Specifically, I'm trying to think in the State House, but I think definitely just being in Plymouth, I've been able to go to a lot of like different events or just different opportunities. And I think going to the Antiquarium Society was really, really cool. I didn't realize so much of the work that they do. I was able to go there twice, actually once today.
Yeah.
And just seeing how much like historical like pieces that they have and go through was really cool. And I think what was most amazing to me was seeing a picture of someone like wearing a certain thing and then just seeing that item like in person. And it's just so amazing to see.
I
Like
know.
so many opportunities that I definitely wouldn't be able to do without the internship.
It is really cool that the Antiquarian Society has so much stuff that they were telling us about it today. 80 women, when they were going to sell or just not sell, they were going to just get rid of Hedge House. They were going to demolish it. And these 80 women came and were like, you can't sell it. You cannot sell it. They got it. They raised the $3,000 to move it to its location where it is now. And I think what they say, 1924, they started to kind of collect all of this amazing clothing that some is one of a kind that they've not seen or maybe made the only thing. Today we saw the first jacket of a Plymouth like infantry might be the right word, or guard, Plymouth Guard. It was really cool to see that jacket and to know that, somebody who lived in that home who also had like walked the same streets we've walked, and that piece. So that's really cool. And they have so much archival textile material. It's incredible. I mean, I could spend hours there, and hours. I don't know, any topic that you didn't think you would learn about or was really interesting?
Yeah, well, one thing I love a lot is like going to like hearings about medical policies in particular. It's really kind of awesome to see because like all these hearings are open to the public and people will sign up to tell their story and explain why they want this bill passed. I think it's kind of incredible that we have like in our state a place where people can tell their story to people that a place where people can really tell their story to people that can actually make tangible change. It's just incredible to hear people have a platform for these
and
their experiences.
And now people can do that all over, so they don't have to come into the State House. They can virtually testify, which is really cool. And I think hopefully makes it so that more people can be involved. I mean, we think all the time, like there's not many great things that came out of COVID, but I think that ability and that accessibility, because if you think, we live what should be technically about an hour from Boston. When you get actually into traffic, it's probably more like 2 hours, an hour and a half on a really good day. But people who live in Western Mass, it could take them 3 hours, or more to get, or live at the tip of the Cape. Being able to have that access is really important, and I think has been is really cool. And that I appreciate people being able to share their story.
Yeah,
like you said with medical things are so personal.
Yeah,
because you went to the sickle cell day, and you learned a great deal about sickle cell that you probably didn't know.
Yeah.
I forget, there were some other ones that you went to too, the robotic one, the how you do surgery and things. So there's a pancreatic cancer one yesterday. There's just so many different medical. We did a whole briefing on celiac disease since I'm a celiac. We did the celiac day, and there's just so many opportunities to be part of that. But now, do you think that how does this internship kind of maybe fit in your future plans? I don't know, when you go back to school, are you going to think about your classes differently, or what you want to do in that next stage? Carter, if you want to go.
Yeah, it's definitely very related to what I'm studying. So it kind of just I have like a deeper understanding of what I'm actually learning about. Because again, back to what I was saying earlier about like really understanding how it goes on behind the scenes. It's one thing to study it, but it's a whole other thing to be there and experience it, behind the scenes, see how laws are really passed.
Yeah.
So I want to go into public policy at some point, and I just think it's incredible that I can already know what it's like, so experience it.
Yeah, and you've had the opportunity. You did research for us and help us write some hearing testifying letters and things like that. So it's so what you can learn is really incredible.
Well, my goal is to work in some sort of communications, marketing, public relations role. And I think that this internship has just really made me, I've touched on this earlier, but made me realize the endless opportunities that there are out there with organizations, public organizations. I've seen Michelle interact with so many constituents and organizations, and just realizing how important communication is in those organizations for getting out, whether it's like a fundraiser or it's some sort of event, and just how important that is in
It's so important. And Nick, you kind of touched on it a little bit with constituents. I mean, working with the district is so important. We have so many meetings, we get so many emails. And I know it's a little less like fun part of the kind of the internship is we've got a database that we try to keep track of everything and make sure that we know how many people are sending us emails about, are they sending us emails about the not Route 3, I should say. We have if they're sending us emails about, say, the 3A traffic situation, the unsafe intersections, or are they sending us emails about wanting to make sure that, are we talking about federal issues? Are we talking about state issues? What are we talking about? So what have you learned about constituent services and how that kind of works into this and the importance of it?
Yeah, I feel like it's like I've realized like how important it is like in your role, like and how like I don't know if it's like overlooked, but it really is so important just hearing like the needs of the people that you're helping. And I feel like people like don't realize like how serious of problems people will reach out to you for. And like how much and how important it is for you to like really listen and help. So yeah, I just think it's like overlooked how important that like piece of like community and is.
We talk about that in like every podcast, the importance of how people reaching out really does make that difference and the amount of things we can do that help. I mean, you all have seen we're able to help with unemployment and, people who have been like 8 weeks, couple months, 3 months that they haven't been able to get their unemployment and they finally reach out and we can help them within, sometimes it's 24 hours and sometimes it's 3-4 days, but we get that turned around and they get money in their bank account. And so they don't have to worry about, oh my God, am I going to not be able to pay for food or rent? And that's a huge issue in people's lives. If you all of a sudden are in a place where you don't have a job and this is the one thing that's like tying you and you're working hard to find a job but you can't, while you're doing that, you lose your housing or anything like that, or do people need food? There's just so many ways that we can connect them. What about you, Carter?
Yeah, I feel like, people put a lot of effort into their emails and stuff and letters right into Michelle. And it feels kind of incredible to me personally when I'm able to like, give them a voice by really listening to what they have to say. Like when I draft an email, I feel like I'm like, I don't know, I feel like often making sure they know that they're heard.
Yes.
It just feels like I feel warm inside knowing that like, people in town know that they're heard.
It's so important and that we need your help to draft all the emails because some days we can't get to everybody's response. I mean, we're out like today we started the morning. I started at like 9ish in Red Brook and then we went to Antiquarian and then we had, I don't know where else we were, but we were in a couple other places and now we're here. And so this whole entire time I have not looked at my phone basically except for maybe a couple of 20 minutes to post our Friday update. But other than that, so in order to keep up and not have people wait and to do that 48-hour kind of workday turnaround, it's important sometimes and sometimes the issues we may not have heard about. And so one of you all can do a little bit of research, find that piece for us, and then you give us a draft or you give us like some points about what does this bill do or what is this issue, and then we're able to kind of form an understanding because without it, there's just so many emails.
And there's so many constituents. I feel like I didn't realize that before going into this internship. Like every state rep deals with so many constituents. Yeah. And it's important to like hear each of them because they all have their own opinion, their own like opinion that they can bring to the table or like questions, opinions about bills that like you're dealing with. So
and representative is in that title. And so it's not like I'm there talking about my own feelings or voting on my own things. I mean, obviously there are things, you can't help but, have your own thoughts on certain issues, but it's important that we're able to, that they feel that when I send an email or when we have a conversation that I'm listening to them or one of you are listening to them or able to help them. Because, today at our office hours, we talked about a variety of topics that, some of which I have a deep knowledge, others were able to make connections with people. And I think that's the really important thing too. We've got a lot of people who've reached out with, hey, I have a question about I don't even a food pantry or something like that, and we're able to connect them to that. Oh, here's this source where you know they're open on Wednesdays. They can help you, or let us help you find that next step. But it's so important.
Yeah.
Sorry, Carter.
Oh no, it's good. No, yeah, I was just gonna say that idea of just like being heard. I think is really like a value that's been like instilled in me during this internship. Like it's so important to be heard. And that's kind of the role of the office.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. No, I love that.
Yeah.
I love to hear that. I'm so glad. That's what we talk about all the time, that being heard in people's voices, because we never want anyone to feel like they're not. I called a woman the other day who has a completely different viewpoint than I do on something, but we had a great conversation, and it was about like, how do we cut to the point? Because we're just people. Like we had this conversation in the car here, Maeve, and it was, we're just people and all have our own kind of leanings or thoughts, but together we all just need to live our best lives. So how do we do that? Has it changed your perspective at all on state government?
I think so. I think I didn't realize how, like, I thought so much happened at the federal level, and I'm realizing like how much happens at the state and local level, and like really how much little, like, I won't call them small issues, but like small issues that like town issues can then make change in state and then federal. So I think, just realizing like how much the local and state level do.
Yeah, it's very true. Anything for you, Carter?
Well, yeah, and just how much like work is put into that. Like it's incredible. I mean, like I know there's nights where you're up, talking to people at like midnight. I'm sure I've heard it's
emailing. I won't call them. I promise.
Well, yeah, but just so much like just work like 24 hours a day. It's
seeing like your schedule and like how much overlaps, and like how you'll have like Nicole Manfredi like on a Zoom for you, and then you're like, I'm hopping on, and then it will just like switch. It's just awesome. Like, and like seeing like the teamwork. I feel like every office, I haven't interacted with many offices, but I feel like every office has such a great team, and I think like just seeing like how important it is, like that communication aspect too. Yeah. Like with anything.
It's so important. Like you said, hopping on or hopping off, or like I'm in one hearing, but I have two hearings, and Nicole or someone else is in that other paying attention at the time I'm not, and then I switch back and forth. So it is a lot of communication. Do you think that there's like a misunderstanding about the work that we do at all, that that you think people kind of come to reaching out to us with?
Yeah, I feel like people maybe think it's like all politics and less personal, but like you were touching on earlier, like you really do as a state rep, like make an effort to make sure everyone's voice is heard. Like
anything from you, Carter?
Yeah, I agree with that. Like making it less like political. I mean, like half the emails are just people with like talking about like their own like personal like grievances. Like it's not like politics. It's just a constituent that needs help or something. Yep, that's all it is.
So we're still on that topic of like internships, and we're kind of what would you tell other students who are interested in an internship like this, who are applying for an internship?
Yeah, I would say like going back to like the major piece, like it doesn't matter like what major you are. Like honestly, I've realized that from all the like briefings and just like events that I've gone to, that like this internship could really appeal to anyone. And yeah, just like go for it, apply, and see what happens, because you never know. Yeah. Any internship, any piece of experience, I think is valuable.
And you can learn what you like or what you really don't like. Yeah. And I think with like Carter, it sounds like the medical side of things is really interesting to you. I'm not sure if that was before, but I don't know if.
Yeah, definitely. I kind of became interested in a lot more because of this. But I think one thing I really tell people is that it's not like a job. Like I was almost sort of like hesitant to even apply, because like I don't want to like be bored. But it's it's like it has just been like fun the whole time. It's never felt like a job. I get to do something different every day. I get to hear incredible things. It's amazing. It's never once felt like I'm working.
Oh, good.
It was like if you want a summer job that's you're not working. This is it. Yeah. It's just it just feels meaningful.
Oh, yeah. Glad to hear that.
Yeah, I feel like going off of that, like with a lot of internships, you don't know what to expect unless you've heard from someone who's done it previously. And I didn't know what to expect, but it just been great. Yeah, like he was saying, like just all the different things I've been able to go to, I like really wasn't expecting. like half of it, but it's not just sitting at like your computer.
Yeah.
Like
There is
sure
some
is a
of
little
that.
bit of
Sorry.
that. A little bit of that, but that's expected. But then it's like now we're going off into downtown and like going to this event, or now you're sitting in on this briefing. Yeah.
Try to keep it different. And I think that's what I think is really important. Do you think there's any skills that you need for an internship like this, or that you wouldn't ordinarily need for?
I mean, I think like with any internship, the ability to like communicate well, like with whoever is like overseeing your internship, is important. But I don't think there's like any like super specific skills, because you will learn skills along the way. But I think being able to communicate your needs or asking questions, is something that you need, like just being curious.
That is a perfect answer to that question.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I mean, even just the ability to be able to like listen. I mean, like I've been to so many hearings where, you know, I'm not talking. I'm just sitting there and taking in information for an hour. Just, you know, that ability to just, you know, listen. You know.
Yeah, to communicate
exactly.
your needs, but also to be able to digest it, because there is a lot of information that comes at you.
Yeah.
And, you know, there's a lot of people who speak at those briefings and some who are advocates for it. So they don't maybe have like all the information that you're actually there to get. You know, sometimes you're there and, you know, we've got 2 state senators and 2 state reps who are really, they're passionate about the topic, and they're sharing their knowledge. But then you get the people who are in the weeds day in and day out. And that's the information. Not that I shouldn't say that I take all the information from state reps and senators, but you know what I mean? Someone who's working in the field day in and day out. Like the other day when I went to the Narcan training, like we have state reps and state senators who are passionate about that. And we are so glad that we have them. We have people with personal experience that can share that as state reps, but we also have advocates and people who spend their lives making sure that we have people who can access what they need, that the opioid crisis, and we're looking at it and saying, you know, let's not put that, let's not make people feel bad about it. This is something that if they feel bad about it, are they not going to get help? So it's like being able to digest that information, but also to be able to the communication piece of sharing what you need from the internship, but also like what we can do to help you. And, you know, we learn all kinds of, we've got a database that you get to learn. And I don't know if get to is the exciting part. That's probably the least exciting part of things you get to do. So I apologize for that. But I do think that those 2 things that you just said are really important. Communication and listening are so important for every part of our lives, right?
And I think like not just communicating with like those who are in charge of you, but also just like networking and communicating and talking to people that you interact with at these like events, at these briefings. Like you can make so many connections. I've gotten like people who just hand me their business card, and that's awesome. I can make a connection on like LinkedIn or something. You never know any.
Like when we went to the mosquito, the Plymouth County Mosquito Control, something you probably would never have gone to before or known about, you know, and now you know all the things, and we like to dump out our tires, right? Make sure that if we have any tires in our yard, we empty them.
I went home and I said that.
Any standing water, you're like, oh no.
I've met so many different people. That definitely expanded my network a ton. I've met so many people from different interns. Just places I've been. It's awesome.
It just is. So let's take a step back from the internship itself and get a little bit more into like Plymouth. And I know we've been to different areas of Plymouth, but what's your favorite place in Plymouth? Do you have a favorite place? Whenever we're kind of talking about that, or maybe we start off with how about your favorite restaurant? Do you have a favorite restaurant? I know it's hard because you work at one, so probably. They're all delicious, right? I like the variety that we have in Plymouth.
There are a lot of places to Big Town, but no, I think one of my favorite places, it's a bar restaurant in Manamet, Monte Cristo's. I've gone there probably every week for the past like 4 years. I love that place.
Whenever you're home, it's your go-to.
Yeah, me and all my friends, we could go to Monte Cristo's, the sports game, everything. I love that place.
I love that.
Best food in town.
Do you have a go-to when you come home, Maeve?
I'm trying to think. I think like one not hidden gem, but like this just opened up, I think this past year, but the Plymouth General Store, I thought it was just a store, but it actually has sandwiches and drinks, and has such good coffee. Yeah. I love that. And also a lot of, I work at Gunther Tooties. I love their bagels so much. I think that's
they do. They have great gluten-free bread. Like, to die for gluten-free bread, which is not usually the case.
I just think downtown is my favorite area, and like we have so many great restaurants. I can't even think think of half of
And
them.
we have so many good ones that are down south
Mhm.
Plymouth
Mhm.
now and Cedarville. We've got great ones at Manamet. I
Mhm.
mean, we are so lucky. I think no matter where you go, you can't really go wrong in a restaurant in
Mhm.
Plymouth. Or
Such a variety of like
Yes.
different types of cuisine.
yes,
Good.
and I know you already said your favorite place to get a coffee because I know you both like coffee.
Yeah.
Any
But
place.
you-
Yeah. Mary Lou's. Mary
Yeah,
Lou's.
Mary
of
Lou's,
course.
yeah.
Mary Lou's. Yeah, your favorite is Mary Lou's too.
Yeah, I was there yesterday.
Oh. I don't drink coffee, so
Really?
I'm like not able to participate in this conversation. But I do like Leiden Street is
Yeah.
really cute.
Yeah.
I love their
They have really good
their
matcha.
vibe and like they have a cute vibe. And then you have Kiskadee that's been around for a really
Yep.
long time. But do you have a favorite like trail to walk or area that you like when you go? I know you like to hike.
Yeah. I mean, I live by a lot of like cranberry bogs and all that.
Mhm.
Like really trails. It's kind of beautiful. It's like it's one of those things you only see up in in the Northeast. It's kind of awesome to go for a walk, or run anything just on the cranberry bogs.
Yep.
They're really awesome. They're just like miles and miles of these trails with pretty cranberries.
Mhm. They just go
Yeah.
on and
Yeah.
on forever. I know.
Love those.
For me, I think Nelson Park. I like to like walk my dog there or go for runs. Because it's a good loop and then you can like go downtown from
Yeah.
it.
Yep.
Good place to park for free. So
Yeah.
that's good too.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I think
Free parking.
Nelson Park, their trail is nice.
Oh, I love that. I love Ellisville. It's one of my favorite places
is
to
really
like
pretty.
go and walk out to the beach and take my dog on her leash. And let her kind of just like, it's a great short path. And then we have so many like Grandpa's Trail, which
Yeah.
every time I walk on it, or go for a run, I think I'm going to get lost on it. So far, so good. One time I did jump a little bit early and just walked along the road because I was like, I don't know where I am right now. What about your favorite pond or beach?
I mean, beach. I mean, it's kind of awesome because we have so many. I mean,
Mhm.
Plymouth Beach is awesome. I actually work there on the weekends.
Yes.
That's really pretty. Whitehorse is awesome.
Mhm.
Morton Park actually. The pond is awesome.
Yeah.
I go swimming there a lot.
Right
and I
near
work
you,
there.
right?
Yeah.
Another
Yeah,
job.
it's really pretty. Yeah, and nice trails there too. It's a really pretty area.
It is. Do you
Yeah.
have a favorite one, Maeve?
Yeah, I think Plymouth Beach for sure
Yeah.
too. And then I live pretty close to Whitehorse Beach,
Mhm.
so I like Whitehorse.
Yeah.
We have a lot of just like great
We
places.
Yeah, so much
do.
variety in
Yeah,
town.
I love to go to Gallows Pond. It's not
Yeah.
far from my house, and it's
Mhm.
really just like a kind of quiet
Mhm.
space, and it doesn't have the pond sometimes have that gross bottom. I don't feel like it has a gross bottom. But we have so many wonderful things in Plymouth, and we're just so lucky to be here. I guess let's see if we have like a couple more questions. Now we talked a little bit about our favorite like briefing or favorite activity that we went to together or separately. Is there anything else, that kind of other event that you maybe attended that was interesting to you, or something you may not have gone to that would be something you want to talk about? I know if Emily was here, she would share about our experience. We were able to go on a flight over Plymouth on Monday, and it was really cool. Unfortunately, the weather came in, and so we couldn't go down to the canal and see kind of the southern part of Plymouth, but we saw like South High School, and we think we saw Flag Rock. We're pretty sure from the sky. We saw the Mayflower and like so many really cool things. I would hope that would be her favorite part, but maybe she really loves to do the database work, but I don't know about that. But it was really cool, and like so it just like different experiences. Anything else that sticks out to you about this?
I forgot to mention this earlier, and I think this would be my favorite, but I think going to MEMA was for sure one of my favorite experiences, and going to the bunker. I honestly didn't even know it existed. So just seeing that, I didn't know what to expect, and it was just really cool.
Yeah, as part of the Emergency Preparedness and Management Committee, we had a tour of the bunker in Framingham, and it was really cool. And I mean, there are people who lived in Framingham their whole lives, and they don't know what it's there for or what the purpose of it is. And it was really interesting to understand the history. And I think the most memorable it was all very memorable, but I thought it was very interesting to learn that JFK had the choice to the day that he was assassinated, whether he went to Texas or he came to Massachusetts for the MEMA dedication, and he chose obviously Texas. But there is a letter there that he signed that morning before he was, unfortunately assassinated. And I thought that was I was like, oh, fun fact I didn't even know about. But that was cool. And then all the other like kind of adaptations they've made of something that was built in the 60s, but is still functioning and still helpful in 2025.
Yeah, I think one of my favorite things I've done so far is going to the March Against Elder Abuse downtown as on behalf of your office. It's kind of like, I mean, I feel incredible that like this internship has made me more like, I've become much more involved in the town itself. It just feels kind of awesome. Like I really feel like I'm like a part of this town, and I kind of like, I'm helping the town. Like I'm it's just awesome. Like, I don't know.
No, I think that's...
I love being involved. Yeah.
Oh, I'm so glad. And that's what the point is too, so to see that like everyone can get involved. And I hope that, I don't know, when you go home and tell your friends and family like all about the importance of getting involved, like you really hope that that's what comes from this. I'm sorry, you look like you had something.
No.
Cut you off.
No.
But yeah, I just think the important part is that, it's all about accessibility. We all need to be in part of our political system, because whether or not you want to believe it affects you, it does.
Yeah.
And getting involved and having your voice heard is really important. Like we learn, I mean, your dad's on the school committee. You know that what happens here affects you right away. Like if our school committee or our select board makes a decision, it could start tomorrow. It could start 6 months from now. Or, if our state legislature, like state reps and state senators make a decision, it could affect you right away. It could affect you 6 months or a year down the line. But so much on the federal level takes time to trickle down to us. And so I think that, and you probably come across it on a lot of the constituent emails that we get, are people who just don't understand the difference between federal, state, and local. And although we all communicate and we all like talk to each other. So if we get a federal email and we respond to you and we say, hey, here's the contact information, or would you like us to forward it? We can forward it along, but here you can also do this, or that's a local level at the town. Here's what you can do about it, but like, let us see if we can help you get to the right people. I feel like a lot of it is that connection we make. But yeah, no, is there anything else? Any last thoughts? I don't want to keep you all for the rest of your day. It is a Friday. The weather's beautiful.
It is nice.
I'm trying to think, because I know like one of the questions that you were thinking of asking was like advice for other like students.
Yeah. Why don't we do that? Why don't you give us that advice? Because
I thought this was a really good piece of advice, not from me personally, but I heard this when we were at our internship orientation, and it's to write everything that you do down, because it's just going to be really helpful for interviews in the future. Like when people ask you what you've done, it's like right off the top of your head, sometimes it's really hard. Yes. Even I just forgot about like something that I went to. Mima. So I think writing every single thing that you do down and like just little notes about it. Like I just put it in my like notes app, but still need to like add. I forget to do it sometimes, but I think that's a really good piece of advice.
That is really good. I actually just started this year on January 1st. I had a friend who suggested it, and I'm not a journaler at all. Not that girl at all. But I was given a 5-year, basically you write one sentence a day, and they have the date at the top of the page, and you just write like one experience you had or a feeling or a thought. And so I've gotten into the habit of doing that, because there are so many things that like I don't remember doing. I'm like, oh yeah, I did that, didn't we? Like that was really fun. And I just need to be reminded of it. Or I learned about a ton about how the budget worked here, or how, the impact of the budget on, one day I had a whole conversation with somebody about prostate cancer and the research that's being done and what's happening in Plymouth County that, is so important to remember. But in your day to day, and you're trying to find it through your filing, and there's so much information, like a song from the 90s, I could probably sing every word, but can't recall something that just happened yesterday with a fun fact, So I just am so thankful that the two of you made the time today to share about your internship, and that the three of you have just been amazing. It's been wonderful getting to know you, and to have this conversation with Carter and Maeve. And, we would have had Emily, so we missed Emily today, but glad that she's also part of this group. And it's so inspiring to see the next generation so engaged and passionate about public service, and just learning the ins and outs of it, because even if it isn't a passion of yours or an interest, it's involved in all of what we do. And so I hope you all enjoy hearing their insights as much as I did. I'm so grateful for all the work you've done this summer and that you will do. And I look forward to all the wonderful things that we continue to do together this summer. But our office is always looking for interns at all times of year. So if you're interested or know someone who is, please tell them to send email to michelle.badger@mahouse.gov. make sure to stay updated on what we are doing at the State House and this podcast. And you can follow us on social media to stay connected and keep the conversation going. Instagram at state_rep.Michelle_Badger, Facebook, State Rep Michelle Badger, Blue Sky, Rep Michelle Badger, and TikTok at Badger for Plymouth. Thank you so much for listening to Legislative Lens, People in Policy. Take care and have a great day.